All right, let's talk about something huge. Today, we're diving into two massive financial worlds that exist side by side. One of them is the foundation of our entire global economy. The other? It's a brand new digital frontier being built right now in real time. We're talking currencies, we're talking crypto. Let's get into it.
First things first, let's get a sense of scale. That number you're looking at, that's not a typo. $6.5 trillion. That is how much money is traded every single day in the foreign exchange market, Forex. It is by far the biggest financial market on the entire planet. Just mind-boggling.
For most of history, money has been pretty straightforward, right? It's the dollars, the euros, the yen, issued by governments. But that brings up a really cool question. In a world where everything is becoming digital and instant, what happens when the very idea of money gets a serious tech upgrade?
And that question leads us right here to a totally new kind of marketplace. This is where that upgraded money lives and breathes. Welcome to the world of digital asset exchanges. It's on these new digital trading floors that assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum are bought, sold, and find their value 24/7 all across the globe. Okay, so to really get a handle on this new world, it helps to put it side by side with the old one. Think of it like a showdown. You've got Forex, the undisputed, long-reigning champ, and you've got crypto, the disruptive new kid on the block. So, how do they compare?
Well, right away you can see a huge difference in how they operate. The Forex market is a beast, but it's a 5-day-a-week beast. It takes the weekends off. The crypto market, on the other hand, it never, ever sleeps. We're talking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is a truly non-stop global engine.
So let's pop the hood. Let's get into the engine room and see how these new digital marketplaces actually tick. What's going on behind the scenes?
The best way to wrap your head around it is with an idea you're probably already familiar with. A crypto exchange is a lot like the New York Stock Exchange. The only difference is, instead of trading stocks in companies like Apple or Tesla, you're trading digital assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's the same basic idea, just for a whole new kind of asset.
Now, at the absolute core of any exchange, the real beating heart is something called the order book. Just think of it as a live, constantly moving list of every single offer to buy and every single offer to sell. This is where supply literally meets demand second by second.
So how does a trade actually happen? It's a pretty elegant three-step dance. First, you place your order. You say, hey, I want to buy 1 Ethereum at this price. Second, the exchange's computer, its trading engine, instantly scans that order book looking for someone who wants to sell at that price. And third, the second it finds a match, bam, the trade is executed. It all happens in the blink of an eye. But here's where it gets really interesting, because not all exchanges are created equal. In the crypto world, there are two completely different philosophies, and it all boils down to a huge debate: control versus freedom. This brings us to centralized versus decentralized exchanges.
So on one side, you have your centralized exchanges, or CEXs. Think of companies like Coinbase. They're super user-friendly, there's tons of trading going on. But, and this is a big but, they hold your funds for you. They're the custodian. On the other side, you have decentralized exchanges, DEXs like Uniswap. These aren't companies at all. They're just code running on the blockchain. There's no one in the middle, which means you and only you are in control of your funds. It's the ultimate trade-off. Do you want convenience or do you want control? And here's just a quick peek at some of the giants in that centralized world. You can see how they all try to find their own corner of the market. You've got Coinbase, which is famous for being super easy for beginners. Kraken has a rock-solid reputation for security, and Binance.US is often the place to go if you want a massive selection of different coins. Everyone's fighting for a piece of the pot. But here's the thing, the tech and the markets, that's only half the story. The other, arguably more powerful force, is regulation. This is where the real future is being decided, and it's led to this really fascinating situation that one researcher calls Bitcoin's political orphanhood.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly sums up the bizarre spot Bitcoin is in right now. It's not illegal, but it's also not getting any official help to plug into the modern financial system. It's kind of been left out in the cold, an orphan in this new regulatory world.
So how did we get to this point? Well, it's been a journey. Bitcoin launches way back in 2008, and for years, it was kind of a Wild West. But after major blowups, like the collapse of the FTX exchange, regulators globally got very, very serious.
That kicked off a whole new era focused on safety and investor protection, which you could imagine leading to a hypothetical law like the Genius Act, designed to bring just one piece of the crypto puzzle into the official system.
And this is the absolutely crucial part. A law like this wouldn't need to ban Bitcoin. It does something much more subtle. It would build a brand new, super-fast, regulated financial highway specifically for stablecoins. And it would just forget to build an on-ramp for Bitcoin. By creating rules that Bitcoin can't possibly meet, it's effectively pushed to the side.
And that regulatory choice, it had a massive and maybe even predictable consequence. With Bitcoin effectively cut off from the new payment systems, another type of digital asset rose up to completely take over the world of blockchain transactions.
And wow, the numbers do not lie. Look at this. After this kind of regulation kicks in, you'd see over 93% of all the value moving around on blockchains being in stablecoins. It is a complete and total domination of on-chain activity.
And it's not just about the total value. It's about how often people are actually using them. While Bitcoin usage kind of chugs along at about 12 million transactions a month, stablecoin usage just explodes to over 200 million. They became the real go-to currency for doing things on the blockchain.
So what exactly is a stablecoin? It's a pretty simple idea, actually. It's a type of crypto that's designed to not be volatile. Its value is pegged or tied to a real-world asset, usually the US dollar. So for every one digital dollar out there, there's supposed to be one real dollar sitting in a bank somewhere. And that gives it the stability that both regulators and users really like.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. What did we learn? We saw that Forex is the biggest market in the world, but the 24/7 crypto market is this incredible new frontier. We broke down how exchanges are basically just digital matchmakers for buyers and sellers. And most importantly, we saw that regulation isn't just some boring obstacle. It is actively picking winners and losers, shaping what we'll actually use as digital money. And that choice is what led to the absolute explosion of stablecoins. And all of this leaves us with one final massive question. As these two worlds, traditional finance and digital assets, keep smashing into each other, what's the future of money going to look like? Is it going to be controlled by a few big players? Will it be totally decentralized? Or will it be some kind of hybrid of the two? That is the future that's being written as we speak. Thanks for digging in with me today.